Well, come back to Let's Play Higurashi Minagoroshi. This is recording, right? Yeah. Always awkward starting off there. And it's like, oh man. I was just, well, I'm gonna try to keep it brief anyway, because I was gonna mention it regardless, because it's the 13th now, so bit, falling behind on recording there, and it's because I didn't record much of anything really for about a week, and part of the reason for that was when our dogs passed away. I mentioned this in my Rune Factory Oceans LP on the main channel, so I don't want to go over it all over again, kind of the same thing, but then I just saw they said last played for, Higurashi here, the 3rd, and I was like, it just reminds me again, because that was the day he was put down. Because, I was asleep at the time. I found out the next day, or rather that night, I can't remember which, it was around about then. So, I've only really got around to recording in the past few days. Did recording for Rune Factory Oceans, and I'm doing recording for this. So again, rest in peace, Sam, the dog. He had he had very bad arthritis, and he lost feeling in his back legs and stuff. And I'd say all this, and it's like, oh yeah, this is great, right? It's like, I was talking about something depressing, and we're going to be reading depressing shit because there's a situation with Satoko here. She just can't win. But yeah, it feels like only, it didn't hit me quite, as hard as, when I first heard about it. It was just like, But then it's slowly, that slow lingering feeling where it gradually starts to settle in, and you're like, shit, that's actually kind of pretty depressing. Ooh, here we go. I read all that in brief spy, if I recall. Satoko, we were so worried about you. It shouldn't have happened to you in the past 3 days. I really did have a fever the whole time. I'm sorry for making you all worry. She started telling us why she hadn't been at school. And you know what? Another reason why I haven't really got onto recording, aside from the dog, having to be put down, was it freaking heat wave lately, man. Just too bloody warm. I had the very briefest, it lasted a little while, thunderstorm, although it was more a lightning storm than anything. I barely heard any thunder. Just see a flash of lightning here and there, but no, that you expect from thunder, more just like a low rumble. She started telling us why she hadn't been at school. Nobody had even asked her that. Uncle must have told her to say that to everyone. It's so painful to see her like this. Rena seemed more angry than sad. Inside, I felt the same way. It felt like my anger was boiling up and lodging painfully in my throat. Let's get the word of the day out of the way. First, otherwise it'd be halfway through a recording to get to that. What should be the word of the day, though? Got the perfect word for the dog dying and, talking about that, and, the situation with Satoko. It's depressing, isn't it? So that will be the word of the day, depressing. Jutsu. Now, the knives, I don't know what context that adds to it, but especially you, and su. That's how it's, that's the characters in it. It's got a kanji character, of course. And, wait, no, that's depressing. Yeah, that is depressing. But depressed is Ochikonderu, or something like that. That's, depressing word for the day, because it is the word depressing. And depressed. Anyways, I don't know if the fan is getting picked up on the microphone because it's facing directly at me. He was only letting Satoko come to school because he was now certain that she wouldn't do anything that would put him at a disadvantage. He was treating her like a tamed animal. Was it too late already? I thought of the broken Satoko I once saw in my imaginary world. Satoko, do your best, okay? Of course I will. I'm doing well even though Nini isn't here with me. I slowly reached out my hand towards her head. As a reward for doing your best, I'll pat your head. Do you mind? She didn't reply, but she didn't refuse either. I slowly put my hand on her head. She didn't react to it, but a tear rolled down from her eye all of a sudden. Was she crying because she didn't want to be touched? No, that wasn't it. Rather, it was the opposite. If I stopped patting her head, I'd hurt her feelings. Satoko felt obligated to survive without her Nini. But that didn't mean she didn't want anyone else's help. She couldn't appreciate my patting her head openly. Satoko had no choice but to cry in silence. Satoko-chan, we won't tell anyone if you cry right now. And after Rena said that, Satoko started crying like a baby. I felt relieved knowing that it wasn't too late. She hadn't yet suffered from the fatal emotional wound that I saw in my imaginary world. However, her tears made it clear that I needed to save her as soon as possible, no matter what the whole world might say to me. Satoko, everyone's going to save you. I promise you that. Satoko, we weren't just doing nothing for these past 3 days. Right, Kei-chan? Right, we're making an appeal to the Child Consolation Center. We're asking him to save you from your horrible uncle. You don't have to do that for me. It's not just us, right, Tomato-kun? It's not just me, either. Akamura and the whole class are fighting for you. That's right. We all went to the Child Constellation Center together. We're going to day 2. Right, my bar-san? Yep, we're not going to give up until we save you. All the boys and girls in the class answered my call with their cheers. Satoko seemed a little surprised, but then soon became expressionless again. Is that why the social worker came to my house? It really wasn't necessary of you. Satoko, did he hurt you because of that? She wouldn't answer. I couldn't tell what that silence really meant. Soon after Chie-sensei entered the classroom, she must have heard the noise we were making. Hojo-san, are you feeling better now? We didn't know for sure if she was really sick or not. All of us, including Chie-sensei, were feeling the same thing. Yes, I'm fine. I'm sorry for worrying you. Everything's alright now. Well, that expression says otherwise. Will you be attending school regularly from now on? Yes. You don't have to continue worrying about me. You don't have to talk to any more social workers. Ocho-san, if you feel overwhelmed, you can come stay with me. I'm on your side, okay? You're welcome at my house anytime. Hey, Chie-sensei, don't act like you're the only one who can help her. Satoko, we're all on your side here. That's right. You could come to my apartment too. We have an extra room so you can use it as your own. She can't do that. Satoko is my pet. She has to come back to my house. Nippa! I remember. It was the previous part, wasn't it? Where I said Nippa in the most strangest way. Out of it, I was like, Nippa! It just sounded really weird. And I wanted to, have it loop at the end of the video, but I couldn't figure out. I don't know how to copy and paste in Shortcut, so didn't end up doing that. Because it's very confusing with how the layout of the software. It's just bizarre. It's for example, symbols and all that, you know. You have arrows, you'd have a plus symbol and a minus symbol. So you'd think, oh, you know, if this was Camtasia, it'd be okay, that's zooming in and zooming out, right? No, they're two completely different option buttons. It's bizarre. See? You're not alone. Everyone's trying so hard to save you. But I don't know if people at the Shell Constellation Center will even understand how we feel. If what Oishi-san told me yesterday was true, then once they learn that this isn't the will of all of Enemy's Hour, once they learn it's only our classmates' greatness stir, they might harden their stance against us. All we had planned was to go there with more people and ask for the same thing. Shell Constellation Center was going to say the same thing to us too. It wasn't going to be any different from yesterday. They tell us that that it's only normal for our uncle to take care of Satoko because he's legally her guardian. They also tell us that there's no proof of any abuse happening. And why do they think that? Because Satoko won't admit she's being abused. That is a bit of a dilemma, isn't it? It's oh well, she said she's not being abused, so she mustn't be being abused. It just seems bullshit. But then again, I can kind of understand where they're coming from at the same time, you know? Because, there's no real proof. Well. But yeah, there's no... I mean, we know what's going on, and all of the characters know what must be going on as well. But they don't, do they? And even if they were yeah, we can assume that that's probably it, they don't have any, physical proof of it happening. And Satoko, you know, denying it just kind of adds to the dilemma. And why do they think that? Because Satoko won't admit she's been abused. Yeah, I read that line. I appreciate your kindness, but I'm fine. That's a lie. Rena spoke with a smile, but her words cut sharp. You know, what is the kanji character for lie? See? Oh, no, wait, no. She's not doing it in that dramatic fashion, so it's Isadayo. Let me actually check my dictionary. Yeah, that does match up. It is the kanji character. I checked the Japanese section for further context. They don't have it worded like that. It says Uso, and liar is Usotsuki, and they have like lie, Uso Suku, or something like that. To tell a lie. Well, whatever. I'm more familiar with that because of Rena. It's like, Asada! With an emphasis on the last bit, because if I suppose it's a way of, like, I don't know, hammering the point home. It's like, lies! You're not okay, Satoko-chan. You're not feeling us well enough. All of us here, and many more people know that you are in pain right now. That's why we're doing our best to stand up and help you. We're reaching out our hands so we can save you from your struggle. But we can't save you without you helping too. Which is right, Satoko. No matter what we say to the center, they'll tell us that there's no abuse because you're denying that it's happening. We all want to help you, but we can't if you don't accept our help. I understand, I was just like you once. I thought no one could help me. I thought whatever I was doing was the only thing I could do. That's why I didn't even accept my friend's help. But someone taught me something. I can't even remember who it was, but someone taught me something. The world you want most is right in front of you. But you won't get there unless you take our hands. It doesn't mean anything if we're the ones reaching out. Only ones reaching out. Satoko-chan, you have to reach your hand out to us too. We can take each other's hands and return to the world we wish for. I can't tell if that was chills from realization of what she's talking about there, or if it's just because my fan. Well, that's referencing the previous answer arc, which was... can I hover over it? No. It's just like it's in the background, but because of how long the titles for the Higurashi series are, it just says Higurashi when they cry, I howl, chat, and that's it. It's like, don't you hate that? It's always nice when you can hover over a text like that and it'll give you, and you'll just like get the full title, but no. And the reason I'm saying that is because I'm just checking Steam there in the background and it's like, wow. Was it Tatarigoroshi or Sumihoroboshi? I can't remember. I think it was Tatarigoroshi though. That was the previous answer arc, I think. And it was Keiichi that said that. Rena, who told you that? I don't remember. I think I heard it before I went to kindergarten. I can't remember who told me that. But I can still clearly remember that feeling. I'm here because of what that person taught me. Rika remembers. I agree, whoever it was who taught that to Rena, he wasn't wrong. Are you assuming their gender? Which, it's funny that you say, if this is Keiichi saying this, it's like, whoever it was who taught that to Rena, he wasn't wrong. That was you, Keiichi. You don't remember, but that was you. So look, do you think it's better not to ask for help? You think that's the best thing you can do? But you're wrong about that. Look at yourself in the mirror. Is that the face you want to wear? I'm sure it's not. You don't want any part of this world. They can bring you back to the world you want to live in. We're reaching out our hands. Well, reaching our hands out. Same thing. These hands are almost touching you. But we just can't reach far enough. If we could, we'd pull you by the hair to get you out of this mess. But we can't make it, so you have to reach out your hand too. Our hands are right here. They're right in front of your nose, so take them. If you just reach out your hands, we could pull you up into a happier world. Satoko wouldn't reach out her hand. She just stared at mine as though praying for something. Her fingers were shaking. But Satoko wouldn't try to reach her hand towards mine. I felt like screaming out in anger, but I didn't want to scare her. If I did that, she'd never trust me again. All I could do was to wait for her to reach out her hand.
Thank you very much. Really, I do appreciate it. But I am perfectly fine. I really...
Satoko. She needs more time. Satoko needed time to sort out her feelings, but her time limit was getting closer and closer. It was unfortunate that Satoko didn't even realize that herself. Next moment, we heard someone approaching our classroom. By the sound of the footsteps, we could tell that it was the principal. Why, he had very specific shoes, and so I couldn't tell why Satoko was twitching like she just got electrocuted. The door quickly opened and the principal strode inside. He seemed relieved to see Satoko back in school. Oh, however, Satoko reacted both dramatically and bizarrely. I guess his footsteps reminded her of her uncle. She let out an inescapable scream, ran to the back of the classroom and hid behind the curtain. No one in the classroom could understand her actions. We never even considered that it was because the principal had entered the room. The principal, however, realized it immediately. Satoko was scared to see him. Hojo-kun, is everything alright? He spoke in a kind voice, but Satoko was still afraid. It was plain as day to all of us that Satoko was frightened at the sight of the principal, but none of us could understand why. Oh. Are you alright, Satoko? You don't need to be afraid. We're all on your side.
My uncle is here.
Everyone here thought for sure that Satoko's uncle had shown up to get her. We all rose up at once, shielded Satoko in a circle, and searched the surroundings. I had yet to see her uncle's face, but we were in school now. Someone unfamiliar showed up. I could spot him immediately. We tried to force Satoko to leave, then forget everything else. I'd end the fight right there. Right here. Rena and Shion are thinking the same thing. However, while Satoko remained frightened, we couldn't find any sight of her uncle. Satoko was trembling as if he was already here inside our classroom, but there was no sight of him. Finally, I realized the truth. Satoko was frightened by the figure of the principal. I could understand that she'd be scared of his footsteps, but she was still terrified after he showed his face. This was not normal. It was made clear to me how much stress Satoko was dealing with. Mika-chan hushed Satoko and whispered into her ear.
It's okay, your uncle isn't here. I mean, uncle isn't here. But he's right there. My uncle's there. He's gonna take me back home.
Calm down, Satoko. Did you take your shot today?
My uncle is here.
Your shot? What are you talking about, Mika-chan? And like I said, it's like I won't voice act lines like that because my voice would just sound silly trying to voice act that. Kichi, she needs Irie's help. Just tell him that Satoko is in an emergency. Hurry up. Chie, let's take her to the nurse's office.
What's wrong, Satoko-chan? Satoko-chan!
Let's call the coach. She needs to see a doctor. Does anyone have his number? I guess she hasn't been taking it then. I do. Let's go use the phone in the teacher's office. I head to the nurse's office after I asked Mion to make a phone call to the doctor. There were lots of students surrounding the office. Chie Sensei was forcing out the other kids who had entered the room with them. I snuck behind her and entered it myself. Satoko was lying down on the bed, still shaken with fear. Rena and Rika-chan were there with her and were trying to calm her down. I spoke quietly so as not to scare Satoko. Is she okay? What's going on with her?
I don't really know, but she's very scared. She thought the principal was her uncle.
Hearing that made it easier to understand, but it was still hard to believe. He had been right in front of us and had spoken to her in such a kind voice. It was really hard to believe that she couldn't tell that it was the principal.
When there's a dark spot on a wall, what does it look like to you?
What?
People who ate flies will think it's a fly. It may look like a spider or a cockroach if that's what you ate. People tend to sense something they don't like when they can't really tell what that something is. She thought of her uncle where she heard the principal's footsteps. I mean, when?
She was still scared even after he showed up.
The illness Satoko has prevents her from correcting those assumptions easily.
What does she mean, illness? I tried to ask Rika-chan that, but Satoko was becoming even more frightened. Rika-chan held her hand gently and tried to calm her down. Rena tapped my shoulder. She was indicating to me we should leave Rika-chan and Satoko alone in the room. I agreed with her. Satoko was in tremendous shock. We're going back to the classroom for now.
Yes, please do.
Rena and I left the nurse's office. My classmates were still asking Chie-sensei about Satoko's condition. As soon as they saw me, they walked over and asked how she was. Let's leave it up to Rika-chan for now. Satoko's very frightened. Please don't do anything to make her afraid. She'll only get more scared if we continue to make this much noise.
Let's go back to the classroom. Coach will be here soon and he'll take care of her. You called him, right, Nick-chan?
Yeah, he'll be here right away. He said to let Rika-chan take care of her, not to let her out of the nurse's office. Head back to the class, everyone. We're going to start homeroom. While the teacher took our attendance, the car arrived on the school premises. Everyone's attention was drawn to it. 3 people with white gowns came out of the vehicle. Irie ran into the school in a hurry. We were surprised to see 3 people show up. It made us all worry that Satoko was in worse shape than we'd realized. Chie-sensei felt the same way. She left the class to Mion and hurried to the nurse's office. Despite our worry, Satoko returned to the classroom about 10 minutes later. She was still as depressed as she was in the morning, but she was no longer in a state of panic. Satoko, are you okay now? I think you should rest some more.
I'm sorry for scaring you. I'm fine now. Satoko-chan.
Satoko seemed bothered by the way we were worrying about her. Chie-sensei also returned to the classroom. At the same time, I snuck out so I could talk to Irie and his staff. I saw him talking with Rika-chan. Coach, is Satoko really okay? Maibara-san. Yes, she's fine for now. We should keep an eye on her, though.
It was just a little panic attack. She's all good now.
Just a little panic attack? You sure? We're saying that Satoko has some kind of illness. Well, I should be going. Please call me if anything happens. You know what? I wonder what that looks like in Japanese. I don't see any katakana, so it's... Actually, what was the full sentence? You gotta check the dictionary again, then. Maybe you would be under panic? No, it looks like panic would just be, panic or something like that. So maybe under anxiety, maybe. It's definitely worded different. Well, anxious doesn't seem to have the same kanji character in there. Maybe, let me see. That doesn't really fit. I don't know what wording there, like what the wording choice is, but if he said like panic attack, it'd probably be, some katakana in there. But all I saw was hiragana, so probably wasn't. Coach bowed and left without making any comments. It was like he was avoiding my question about Satoko's condition. Keiichi, can you promise to keep it secret? What? Oh, sure. Satoko's been sick since a few years ago. She's been getting treatment for that illness for a long time. It was surprising to hear that. That meant she was already sick when I first met her. I've never seen any sign of that, though. That disease can't be cured easily, but she can live a normal life as long as she gets proper treatment and medication. I see. It sounds like it's under control. I had no idea that she was sick until you just told me about it. She should be fine, right? She was hardly in a good condition, so that makes me hesitant to use the word fine. What kind of disease could Satoko have? Based on what I saw earlier, she might have a mental illness rather than a physical one. You know what? There's another word right there. Well, 2 words, really. Oh, but that's... back to the dictionary. It's like... oh man, this part's gonna be... well, it is. It's clusterfuck. Mental illness. I mean, we're technically getting multiple words of the day here, but mental illness, Seishin Byo, I think that is. It's got free kanji characters. And which one is it? Right there, that kanji character is in mental illness. There's the other characters though. You don't see any of the other one there. And what about that one? Now I think that conjugate that I can see is probably for illness more than anything else, really. Because he did say, I can't remember what he said, but something like he compared it to like, is it just a regular illness or a mental illness or something like that? So if it's say Shion, so maybe. And there's a lot of conjugates going on here. That's weird, man. I can't really see any of the other conjugators, just the last one. So even knowing the conjugators doesn't mean shit, because I can't really determine what that says unless it was translated, which it is. Maybe it's the context of the words makes it this year that makes it worded a bit differently, because he's like, she might have a mental illness, so it doesn't have all three kanji characters in there. Might be because of how she was abused in the past. I've heard that mental trauma is not easy to cure, and it needs medical attention at times. That must be what's going on with her.
Satoko has to take 2 shots every day. Since her uncle was bullying her, she forgot to take her shot this morning.
You mean Satoko becomes emotionally unstable if she doesn't take those shots? Ikuchan nodded quietly. Really, it was quite a shock. The Satoko I know is an energetic and mischievous girl who is already always bouncing around like a super ball. I can believe that she turned into a scared little animal just by forgetting to take a shot.
She becomes very afraid when she doesn't get her shots. When something happens suddenly, or when she hears a strange noise or sees something unusual, it feels like there's things that are coming to harm her.
So, she thought her uncle came to the school when she heard the principal's footsteps.
That's right. When she convinced herself that the footsteps belonged to her uncle, and that became the truth for her. Even after she saw the principal's face, her mind told her that it was her uncle.
You said she can't organize information quickly enough. Is that what her illness is all about? I don't even want to know what the disease is called. I feel so bad for her. I had no clue that she'd been fighting this condition for so long. For a girl.
Keiichi, please don't tell Satoko anything about her illness.
Why not? I guess I shouldn't ask. It might not be a nice thing to talk to her about her mental illness. I guess that's what she's trying to tell me. Well, wasn't it in this very arc where it was, like, pointed out by Rika that, Satoko doesn't actually know that she's ill? She just thinks that she's going along for the research. She doesn't actually know that she actually has an illness. She's getting back to the classroom, but is she okay now?
Yuri gave her an injection, so she's alright for now.
She's seriously sick to the point where she requires a doctor's attention. Realize something in the next moment. Hey, maybe we can have her be hospitalized. We can force her to stay in a hospital even if she refuses. That way we can save her from her uncle. Yes, that's a great idea. No, not really, no.
Yuri suggested that before, but Satoko refused.
It's not about her refusing or not. If the doctor tells her to stay.
Keiichi, if Satoko doesn't go back home, her uncle is going to get rid of her in Nini's room.
What? Oh, I guess Satoko must have confided in her.
Satoko feels obligated to protect the Hojo residence until Satoshi comes home.
He was taking advantage of her.
Teppei was telling her that he'd get rid of Satoki's room if she didn't stay with him. That's horrible. Please don't tell anyone about this. I thought you said shit then. Shit is not good at controlling herself. She's not good at controlling herself, so she might get very angry about this. She brought up Shion, but I was also furious about it. I had to calm down though. I needed everyone's help in order to save Satoko. I couldn't ruin everything by acting foolishly. I had no time to stop. Damn it! Satoko asked us for help. We could help her right now, right away. Just because she hadn't asked didn't mean she didn't need it. As her friends, we had to help her. Especially after learning that he was controlling her by threatening to get rid of Satoki's room. She told you that he's threatening her, right? Can we take that as an SOS? Big Chen nodded slightly. Again, let's see if it really is it probably is just SOS, because you can't have that in Japanese. Oh wait, yeah. Stuff like that can't really, have a kanji character because it's, well, obvious. Nor can it really have hiragana or katakana because it would just look odd. So it's like numbers. Numbers actually have kanji characters, but more often than not, what am I doing? They, more often than not, they just have it, as we would. It's like, I guess it makes it easier and convenient for everyone. They recognize a number. It's like, oh yeah, that's a 1, that's a 2, that's a 3. Universally known, You don't need to know the pronunciation in different languages. You know what the numbers are. So in a way, if you think about it, they were like, oh yeah, English is the, not the most used language in the world, but it's up there. And it's like a very common language, and it's like, oh yeah. But math has all languages trumped if you really think about it like that. Math ascends past language is something, I don't know what I'm babbling on about. Yeah, that's something I already thought about. You don't need to know multiple languages to know math. Math is its own language in a way, and pretty much every culture uses the same numbers because it's freaking math. Keiichi, we don't have much time left. That I was all too aware of. She had a panic attack just because she didn't take her shot this morning. If she stayed in her current environment, it'd be too late to save her in a matter of days. I saw her future when I saw Satoko crying behind the curtain this morning. This is the third day. We have 10 times more people on our side than we had on the first day. But we're not going to stop there. Keiichi, it won't be that easy to save Satoko. I've tried many times before, but never succeeded. Really? You don't remember, but you're different this time. I think you're getting very close to saving her. I believe that there's someone who could defeat fate. What did she mean when she said I didn't remember? I didn't have time to ask questions, though. Yeah, you're right. I'll defeat fate, just watch me.